Hello, good morning. Can you people able to hear me? Can you please confirm? Yeah, someone put some. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, if you are able to hear me, let me share my screen. 1 second. Okay, let me remove all this. Okay, now what I can show you is some terminologies that we use in Docker. Yesterday, we mentioned, like we have went through all the introduction, like what the course introduction and tutor introduction, and the syllabus, and the virtualization and physical servers and virtual servers, and why we use virtual servers, why we use Docker, and why what are the disadvantages of Docker, and how in the real time the application is deployed in the Kubernetes cluster. Everything we have went through yesterday, just a prototype has been given yesterday. Now we need to know some terminologies that we use in Docker and some Docker architecture. Okay, now what is the first terminology is something called Docker image. What is a Docker image? Docker image is nothing but a binary. It contains our applications. Like if you want to send a particular file to your any of your colleague or a friend, something like that, what you will do, it's something folder. What you'll do, just zip, like you will create a zip of that folder, and you will send that zip file to your like your colleague, something like it's a zip. Okay, it's a, this image is zip of our application, like zip of our application is something like that. It's a binary, it contains our application. That's a Docker image. Docker image is nothing but a binary that contains our application. Actually, that's a contains our application. That's a Docker image. Okay, what's the second thing? Docker registry. What's a Docker registry is this. To store these images, we need some storage. That storage is called Docker registry. Docker registry is the storage in which we store these images. We have two types of registries. One is public registry, and the second one is the private registry. First one is public registry and the second one is private registry. What's the difference? Okay, the images which are stored in this public registry will be accessible by anyone. Anyone can access. The images which are stored in the private registry only accessible by you or your organization. These images which are stored in the private registry only accessible by you people or your organization who have the access to that registry. Actually, that is the difference between public registry and the private registry. And what is the third one is Docker container. What is a Docker container? Docker container is nothing but a running container, a running binary of our image. Suppose, what is a container? Container in a real world. What is a container? Container is a like a box in which our goods are present. It is used to ship the goods from one place to other place, right? So that's a container. Now in the real society, that's a container in which our goods are present. But in the case of Docker, it's just a terminology that we call, in which a container is in which our applications will be present. Okay, like this, our applications will be running inside the container, but inside the Docker image our application will be there, but it will not be running state. Actually, inside the Docker image, the application will not be in running state, but inside the container the application will be in running state. Actually, that is the container. Okay, and now what is Docker daemon? So Docker daemon is nothing but a, suppose we issue a command, okay, uh, docker ls or container ls. Docker container ls, this is a command that we issue from the Docker console. This, whatever the commands that we issue from the Docker console, that is listened by Docker daemon. What's a daemon? Daemon is a background in the operating system terminology. Daemon is a background process that is running in the background that listens the commands that we issue from the command prompt. That's a Docker daemon. Daemon is a background process that will be running in the background, that is running in the background, that will listen our commands that we issue and perform the necessary action. What is the action that we want to perform here? Container ls. That means whatever the commands that are running on the Docker host, just list them. Like ls means list. Okay, just list them, all the contents which are running. That is the action that we want to perform. That's the that command will be listened by Docker daemon and performed necessary action. Actually, yeah. Shiva, you have raised a hand. Just okay. My
Sir, I
audio is
couldn't. Yeah, audio was broken.
okay. Am I hearable? Yeah, I hope, right? Now, what is a Docker container? Container is nothing but a running binary of our application. Like in the real time, what's a container is, in which our goods are present, that is used to ship from one place to, the goods are used to ship from one place to other place. That is a container, like in the society. But in the Docker, what the Docker container consists, the Docker container consists our application which is running, okay, which is running. But in the Docker image, what's the difference between Docker image and Docker container is the in the Docker image, our like code application will be there, but it will not be in the running state. It will not be in the running state. But in the container, the application will be in the running state. That's a container. That's a Docker container. Is that clear, please, Shiva? Is
Yes,
that,
sir.
yeah, there's a container, okay. Though that's a daemon, that's a container, that's a registry, two types of registry, public registry and private registry, and the Docker image. Okay, this is the terminologies that we have, but there are many terminologies that we'll discuss when the time comes. Okay, no problem. Okay, these are, first you need to know these terminologies. Okay, just delete this. I want to explain the Docker architecture. Okay, let me go here. Docker architecture. Now, before explaining of the Docker architecture, let me go here. Okay, let me, yeah, I'll do that, Shiva. I'll do that. Clear the screen. Clear the screen. Docker images. What is this command? This command lists all the images that are present in my local machine, that in my Docker host actually. Yeah, I did not mention the Docker host term. Okay, one second. There is other term that is called Docker host. What is Docker host? Docker host is the installation, like on the machine, on which a Docker is installed. That is called Docker host. If you install the Docker on your local machine, that is Docker host. The machine on which Docker is running, that is called Docker host. That is Docker host. Now, when it comes to my Docker host, this is my Docker host. I installed my Docker on my local machine. That's my Docker host. My local machine is my Docker host. What's a machine? It's a laptop. Okay, my laptop is a Docker host. And when I issue this command, okay, Docker images, I'm mentioning that I want to list all the images that are present in my laptop. That is the command that I have issued. Okay, now I want to issue another command, Docker container ls. That means I want to issue, like I want to get all the containers, all the applications that are running on my local, like on my Docker host. That's a thing I have mentioned. Now what is happening internally when I executed that commands? Now, okay, we have three things. This is the Docker client. What is the Docker client? Docker client is nothing but from where we are executing the Docker commands. Like in here, in my case, I am executing the Docker commands from the command prompt. Here, my command prompt is the Docker client actually. My command prompt is the Docker client. Okay, that is Docker client. Okay, this is Docker client. Now I've executed the two commands, Docker images. Docker images I have executed. What internally is happening? Okay, in my Docker host, suppose just think this is a Docker host. What is Docker host? The machine on which we install Docker is called Docker host. Okay, Docker host, and here a Docker daemon will be running. This is a Docker daemon. A daemon is an internal process that listens our Docker commands. Actually, that is a daemon we have seen in the previous one. Okay, previous terminal in the previous terminology that I have explained. Okay, the things like I've executed Docker images. That command is being listened by Docker daemon, and there are two things here. Okay, whatever the images that are present, like there are two things, images and containers. There are two things in the Docker host. Okay, whatever the images that are present under the images thing, that is listing, actually that daemon is listing the images present on my Docker host. That is Docker images, that is listened by whatever the I have executed this command Docker images, and that command is listened by Docker daemon, and Docker daemon is listed all the images present on my Docker host. Actually, that is images. Okay, that is how it is functioned actually. Now again I've executed Docker container ls. I've executed this one, Docker container ls. I want to list all the containers that I want to like that are running inside the Docker host. I have executed this. Now this command is listened by Docker daemon. This command is listened by Docker daemon, and it has listed all the containers which are in running state onto my terminal here. Okay, Docker container ls. Okay, that is the thing here actually. That is it happened. Now Docker, now I want to execute another command, Docker pull tomcat. I want to run this. Okay, now what it happened when I run Docker pull tomcat means tomcat is an application. I want to download the tomcat from the Docker hub. Like the Docker hub is a public registry that we have. Okay, I want to download that image tomcat, that tomcat application from the Docker hub. What it done when I executed that, let me explain here. Okay, uh, Docker pull tomcat I have executed like this. Okay, now I have uh, connected to this like this. When I execute this command, okay, when I execute this command, that command is being listened by docker daemon, and check it will check whether that image is present under the images section or not. Image is present under the images section or not. If that is present, it will not download any image. See, if you see here, docker images, if you previously I typed, like I've executed this command, you can see tomcat image is already present. That okay, tomcat image is already present, and the tomcat is tomcat, when I docker pull tomcat, it is not being pulled from the docker registry, it is not being downloaded from the docker registry because it is already being present on my docker host. That is why it is not pulled from the docker registry. Now I want to delete this tomcat. Okay, just observe these comments. I'm executing docker rmi tomcat. What is this rmi? Remove image. Remove image, meaning is remove image is a full form. Docker rmi remove image tomcat. I want to remove the image from a docker host. I want to delete that image. Just execute that. The image has been deleted. Now clear the screen. Clear the screen. Now docker run, or sorry, docker pull tomcat. Docker pull tomcat. Now you can see the image is not there in, I have deleted that image. It being pulled from, it is being downloading from the hub.docker.com. In this case, what will happen, if let me explain it here. Okay, one second. Docker, again I've executed, I've deleted here. Here I've deleted image. And I've executed docker pull tomcat. What it will happen is this command will be listened by docker daemon, and it will check the images section. It will check the images section, like whether the tomcat image is there or not here in the images. And if it is not there, what docker daemon does is it connects to hub.docker.com. This is docker registry. Okay, docker registry. Connects to docker registry. It connects to docker registry, and it will find the tomcat image on the docker registry. It downloads the tomcat image under the images section, and it will download like that. Actually, when I execute docker pull tomcat, it's connected to its docker daemon will listen that command, and it will checks the images section. Under the images, if the tomcat is there, it will not download. If it is not there, it connects to the docker docker registry, and it downloads the tomcat image from the docker registry in your docker host. That's the thing actually. Okay, this is the docker architecture. This is how the docker runs actually. Now next command I want to issue, it is being downloaded because it's a huge image. It takes some time to download that image. Okay, now any questions on this architecture, please? Anyone, any questions? Anyone have any questions? You can ask in chat, please. What if different versions? Okay, different versions of our application. Suppose today we have created an application. We have written some application, and we have uh, tomorrow what we did, we have updated this application to a new version. In that case, what you will do, you will tag this version. You will tag this version as v1 version 1, and tomorrow you will tag this version as v2, and two different tags of this version, okay, will be maintained in the docker registry. Let me show you that. Okay, one second. Hub.docker.com. Let me go here. Okay, if you see my student store application, this is my private application. you can see the tags available. You can see v1.0 is the tag that is being there. Okay, now if you see the Tomcat application, if you see this Tomcat application, there are multiple tags that are available. Each refers to the different version of the Tomcat application. These are the different versions of the Tomcat application. If you create one version of the application, you will create some tag. You will create some tag to the application. If you will create some tag to the application, you will push this version to this image to Docker registry. And if you update the application, you will create another tag to that uh, uh, Docker image, and you'll push the Docker image to again Docker registry with a new tag. Then that tag will be updated here actually in the tag section in your Docker registry. Okay, that's the thing. Is that clear, Shiva?
So what if we have lower version, will it when we pull the image, will it update it to the latest one?
No, what you need to do when you want to pull the image, you need to give something called tag. Okay, suppose you want to give Docker pull something called image name, image underscore something name colon tag. Okay, if you give something colon tag, what tag that you want to download from the Docker Hub, that tag only will be downloaded to your Docker host actually. That's the thing. If you want to see that, one second. Okay, that is being downloaded, Docker images. If you want to see the tag section, okay, you can see the latest. If you don't give any tag at the end here, the latest tag will be downloaded. The latest tag will be downloaded. If you give any tag in the end of the Docker image while pulling that tag will be downloaded in your local machine. Actually, that's the thing.
Okay, suppose if we have version 2 and later if you want to download version 1 by chance, if you want to downgrade, so we can do
Okay.
even that.
Yes, you can do even that. You can download different versions of your application.
Okay. Anything, just mention the required tag.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions regarding architecture?
Yeah, as you taken us through the tag now, can you explain us other different fields over there?
Okay, in the Docker hub.docker.com. Okay, I can do that. Okay, now explore. If you go to explore, you will find all the public images that are being present. That means anyone can be able to access Redis, Python, Ubuntu, and PCBox, Nginx, Alpine. Anyone in the world can able to access these images. Okay, these are repositories. If you go to repositories, these repositories contains what are the images that you pushed from your local machine, that you created your custom image and pushed your application to your uh, that means uh, to your account. Actually, I mean to say this is your account. Okay, these are the private images means these are the images that you pushed to your account, to your hub.docker, to your account. Okay, now if you want to create a registry repository, just click on create repository. You can only create one private repository only. I have already created one private repository. If you use hub.docker.com, it's a free version. If you can only create one private registry, only one private repository. I've already created one. That's why I am unable to create another private repository. You can see here using one out of one private repositories. That means I cannot create a new private repository. Okay, I can only create a public repository as of now. If you create a public repository in your account, I have multiple public repositories. Ubuntu-volume is my public repository. Now click on explore. I have told you the explore contains all the public images that has been accessible by worldwide, anyone. Okay, now you can see Ubuntu, my public image, Ubuntu-volume, VOLUME. Okay, you can see my image is being publicly accessible. Okay, my image is being publicly accessible. You can also see this image in your, if you open the hub.docker.com and search for like ubuntu-volume, and you can find this ubuntu-volume in the public explore section, and you can find this image there. Okay, that's a thing, that's a public image. Okay, now this is the repository, and this is explore, this is hub.docker.com that we have. And these are different architectures. Actually, we have operating system architectures, right? So that's architectures, x84, x86. That image contains that type of architecture, so such something like that. And operating system, the images which work on like Linux and which depends on Linux will be there like this, and the images which have on Windows will be there. If you click like 2 for Windows checkbox, that's the thing. And trusted content, this is a Docker official image, like image officially created by Docker. And the who are the like Docker has some publishers. You can click on this I symbol here, high quality images for publishers verified by Docker, who verified the images which are verified by Docker. If you check like this, you will get this tick symbol. These are verified by Docker. And you can see this one, Docker sponsored open source software. These images are published and maintained by open source projects that are sponsored by Docker through the open source program. So these are sponsored by the Docker. These images, which are, if you click on this, Istio is part of Kubernetes that you can see. These are sponsored by the Docker actually. So these are the different filters that you can perform. These are the trusted content, and you can see plugins. Okay, you can see extensions, and what are the extensions that we have, and images. Okay, you can see the images. These are the filters that we have, and what are these? Yeah, these are the different documents. And Docker desktop. What is a Docker desktop? Okay, Docker desktop is a UI. I want to show you. Docker desktop. Okay, is that open in my local? Let me show you that. Okay, this is the one. So this is the Docker desktop that we have. Okay, 1 second. This is a Docker desktop. As of now, I have only shown you the command line. Okay, like we can execute the commands Docker like this, but you will also have Docker desktop. The command, like the containers that are running, you can see like this, and the images that are there in my local machine, you can see here, and volumes that are created like that. You can see what are the different, these are called layers. Okay, what like different volume IDs, that means, sorry, these are different volume IDs that are being there. You can also see that something, this is a UI from which you can visualize the Docker which has been present, like Docker containers, images, what the entire Docker things you can visualize here. Okay, that is Docker desktop. Okay, if I want to show you this profile, or you can go through what is billing and something like that. Okay, if you want to go to billing, you can purchase, I hope. If you want to create a more amount of private registries, you want to purchase the, like you want to purchase the, like the things, so that you can create more private registries. I have shown you, right? If you create a only if you create a registry, only one private registry only you can create, but not many. If you want to create more private registry, you need to purchase something like that, billing, and this account profile, and what's new, and sign out. Yeah, these are things actually. Yeah, anyone, any questions, please?
So the Docker desktop which you shown is specific to the VM, is it? And if you have multiple VMs, and we will require to have multiple desktops as well.
Yeah, it's specific to that virtual machine. Yeah, if you have multiple virtual machines, you need to have Docker desktop for multiple virtual machines. I hope this is not supported by Linux. Okay, I need to check that, because it's a UI, right? It is supported by Windows and the Mac. Linux is not a UI kind of thing, right? Ubuntu is a UI. You can install Docker desktop as part of Ubuntu if you have Ubuntu machine, like Ubuntu laptop. But yeah, if you have Linux operating system, like you cannot install like this. I hope that, okay, it's something like that.
Okay, and if we install in Ubuntu, for example, when we log into that specific VM, we will be able to visualize that desktop only, right? And we will have to log into other VM and to see that particular desktop. So that's how it
Yes,
is
yes,
implemented.
yes, yes. Whatever in which virtual machine or in on which machine you install Docker desktop, only you can open this visualization. Okay, but you cannot open the other VMs containers in the visual. You cannot you cannot see in the Docker desktop other containers actually in that is created in the Docker other virtual machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say sign out here, and when we say sign in back, so do we
Mm-hmm.
do we give any VM details as well, or is it just account?
Nothing like that. Okay, see, it automatically picks. We have installed the Docker in my local, right? Okay,
Mhm.
now let me do that. Okay, let me sign out. It will be signed out, and let me sign in again. It will be directly connected to hub.docker.com. Okay, continue. I think you won't give any virtual machines. Okay, open Docker. You won't give any virtual machine something IP address or information related to the virtual machine. It automatically picks your installation, like whether if you Docker install Docker in your virtual machine, that automatically picks that. Okay, you did not see, you have seen that we did not given any information of my machine when you signed in or signed out.
Okay, basically you get into this Docker desktop inside the machine, not outside of it, right? It's not like
Yes,
you
yes.
are in a third machine and you're trying to access another one.
No, it's not like that.
Okay, fine.
Anyone, any questions, please? Okay, if no questions, let me explain one more thing. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay, let me go. Clear the screen. Now I want to show you how to run images, Docker images. I want to show you this Docker images. These are different images that are being present in my local machine. How to run these images? Docker run hyphen name. Just give the name to that container. See, if you run the image, that becomes a container. Okay, that's the image. Okay, just give just my application, just give that one. This is I will explain what is hyphen D, and I'll also explain what is hyphen B. Just yeah, I'll explain that, no problem. Just give the 999. These are ports. Okay, just give 80. Okay, now Nginx. This Nginx is an application. This is something called port mapping. I will explain that. And hyphen D is a detached mode. I'm giving the name to my application. I'm giving the name to my container. That's mean. Okay. I want to run that image. That's a functionality. This is a Docker is a binary. Okay. That's the explanation of the command. Okay. Docker containers container ls. Okay, these are containers. Okay, the Nginx application I am running. Okay, now 9999. Okay, I want to access this. I will explain what is the hyphen p. Okay, I'll just wait. I'll access this and explain. Localhost colon 9999. Okay, this one. You can see an application is being accessed, that is being that is running in the Docker container. This is an Nginx application. Now, how this I am able to access application? Let me help you with that explanation. Okay, now just wait. I want to delete all this. Delete. Now, what I did? Okay, what I did is this one. Now, what I did is this is the Docker host. What that is where our Docker is installed. What I executed is Docker run hyphen name is equal to my app, and I've executed hyphen d and hyphen p. 9999 colon 80. I've executed this one, Nginx. What is this meaning of -p 9999 colon 80? What is the meaning? Okay, inside the Docker host, my container is running. This is my container, okay, in which my application is running. Okay, it's in running state. The Nginx application is running on port on port 80. This Nginx application, that's the default port that's selected by Nginx only, who are the developers of Nginx only, that we cannot do anything. This 80 means the container port, the upon which the application is running, Nginx application is running. Okay, this application which is running inside the container is running on port 80. Okay, that's the meaning of 80. Okay, that's the meaning of 80. And what is this 9999? Okay, that's the meaning of our Docker host port. This is the Docker host. This is a Docker host. I mean, in my case, in my laptop, okay, in which my Docker is installed. This is a Docker installed. And this is the 9999 port. Okay, this is a 9999 port. I have what is the meaning of -p 9999 colon 80? Meaning is something like I'm mapping the 9999 port of the Docker host to 80 port of the Docker container on which my application is running. That is the meaning of -p 9999 colon 80. Now what I did from my web browser, from my web browser, I have accessed the application like localhost colon 9999. I've searched for this, and now what it does, the request went to this port, like 999 port. The port is already connected to the container port to 80 because of this -p 8888, and now we are able to access the application which is running on that port 80. Actually, that's the meaning of this, actually -p 9999 colon 80. That is port mapping. We call it as port mapping. That means mapping of host port to container port. Any questions here, please? Any questions regarding this port mapping?
So
Anyone?
what is the range of IPs we can use?
The range is, yeah, the ports is 0 to 65,565. Port range is 0 to 65,565. Total ports are 65,566 actually. Because 0 is already there, that's why 65,565, 0 to 65,565. But few applications in your local machine, or suppose my Spring Boot application is there. Okay, I have my Spring Boot application. I want to show you. Okay, this is my Spring Boot application. Okay, 1 second. Which is already running on port, which is, where is that port? You can see Tomcat started on port 8080. Okay, the local host port, that means my host port, like I want to show you in the diagram. 1 second. Okay, the host port, okay, 8080 is already used by my application. My application is already using the port 8080. Okay, that means you cannot, the two applications, another application, if I want to use this port 80, already my application, Spring Boot application is using this port 8080. And if another application want to use this port 8080, it cannot use actually, because the port is busy. Okay, port is busy. Okay, if this port is not usable by another application, if that port is already busy, actually, that is the thing. And the port range is this 0 to 65,565, and you can use any port between this range until and unless it is not busy, I mean to say.
And what error we receive in case of busy port use?
Busy case. Okay, let me show you that error. Okay, now if I run the Nginx application on the same port, I want to give the name as app1. Okay, if you run this, you can see error response from daemon, driver failed, program to external connectivity. Okay, this is one bind 09 failed, port is already allocated. That means this port is already busy. Okay, if you want to use another port of this 99990. Okay, you can able to run this. Where is that container to be? Okay, that container is already running. I need to delete that container. Docker container ls, but it will be in stopped state. You can see the only 3 containers are running. One is Mongo Express, MongoDB, and the MyApp. But the container name I have given as MyApp1, that is not running. That will be in exited state. Actually, I need to remove that container before creating that one. Where is that? Yeah, this is the one. You can see that is created still, but it's not running. Let me remove this. Okay, docker rm and remove this container. Now you can execute. You can run that. Once again, this one. You can see the Docker is been running on the different, like the Nginx application is been running on different port. If that port is already in used, you will get such kind of error. Port is already allocated. You can see this is running. You can see up status 17 seconds ago. Any questions? Is that clear? Is that clear, Shiva?
Yes, sir. There are other ports seen. So any details there?
Which ports? You mean to say this one?
Yeah, the down one, Mongo.
Yeah, this port is already in use actually. Mongo
No,
Express.
27017/TCP. Some looks
See,
different.
yeah, 27017. What is this? This is the container port of Mongo. Okay. See, this Nginx we have executed, right? That Nginx application is running on port 80, right? Okay. In the same way, Mongo database will be executing on port number 27017. This port number is 27017. That will be running on that port. That's the meaning actually. That's a container port. That's a container port. If you don't map your Docker host port to the container port, you will be seeing simply like this. If you map your if you map your like container port to Docker host port, you will be seeing like this, like
So,
0000. Yeah,
what are the use cases, sir? I mean, usually we should be able to connect from container host, sorry, Docker host to the container, right?
no,
So
no,
if we
yeah,
don't, uh,
yeah. Go ahead, please.
yeah, so if we don't map the Docker host port to the container port, so how do we access it?
Yeah, some use cases are there where we don't want to map the Docker host port to the container port. What are the use cases? Suppose this is the application. This is the suppose. Let's think this is the student application in my case. This should be exposed outside. From I want to access from my web browser or from my Postman or something. I want to access from external. Okay, but my database is there. Database, like let's think this is a MySQL. Why I want to access this like database from outside? I don't want to give external access to my database. Okay, I want to give the access from my application. My application should only be able to access from the database. I should not access from the external, like I don't want to access from the external thing. Actually, you can also access from the external, but in this use case, I don't want to expose this database. I don't want to expose the data outside to the world. Actually, in that case, only my application should be able to access the database. This is one of the use case where you will not exposing the applications. Like this, a MySQL is an application. There is a database, the database application that you don't want to expose outside. That's a use case. This is such kind of use cases we are going to see in the future classes.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone, any questions?
And how about the commands there in the Docker? If you say Docker container ls, you will say some
Okay.
commands, right?
I did not get you. Docker container less. Yeah, this one. This one is nothing but custom Docker images. I will show you. That's different. We are going to see anyway in the future classes. Let me show you that. hub.docker.com. Okay, that is the Nginx we took, right? Let me go to Nginx. we are going to see them in the custom Docker image, creating custom Docker images in Nginx. I want to, anyway, I'll just for your reference, Nginx is this one. We have different commands. Let me go to tags, latest tag. These are different commands that are used to create this Nginx image. Actually, this Nginx image, the developers of the Nginx have used these commands, command label, and these are the different commands. These are entry point. You can see docker -entry point.sh, the shell script that are being running. You can see that. Okay, where is that in this? You can see entry point docker /docker -entry point.sh is this one actually that is being there in the this layers. Actually, these are different that I am going to explain very clearly, no problem. This is the one which is being executed. Shell script has been executed. That's the command actually.
Okay, it basically it represents the layer which has been executed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if no questions, let me clear the screen. What I can tell, yeah, detached mode. Okay, docker. Okay, docker. Let me remove all the containers. I want to show you the yeah, I'm in liveness probe. Okay, clear the screen. Okay, docker. If you want docker container ls, you can see the containers are running. Okay, now clear the screen. I want to delete all the containers at once. Okay, how to delete? What is the command? Okay, if you want to delete all the like one by one container like this, you just copy the container id, docker rm -f. I want to delete the running container. It's in upstate, that means it is a running state. Actually, if you want to delete the running container, you need to use -f. Okay, if you want to delete the stopped or executed container, you don't need to use the -f option. Just give the container id. I want to delete the running container. Just give that. Yeah, I have deleted the running container. If you want to verify docker container ls, no, that container has been deleted. And if you want to delete, like if you have suppose 50 containers, you cannot delete one by one container like this. For that, we have a command to delete all containers at once. Docker rm -f, because I'm deleting all the running containers. That's why I'm using -f. Just dollar use this dollar docker ps-aq. This is the command to run to delete all the running containers. Okay, all the containers were deleted. You can see docker container ls. You can see no container as being running. Just clear the screen. Now, what is the detached mode? Okay, what is the detached mode that we have seen? Okay, let me show you here. Okay, we have used the detached mode something like this, right? -d. What it happens if we don't use -d? What happens if we use -d? Okay, that's the thing I want to show you. Docker run -name is equal to my app -d. I want to give first. -d first, and nginx I want to give. Okay, now you can see the nginx container is being run. Okay, docker container ls. You can see the nginx is upstate. Okay, the nginx is in upstate. And if you want to check the logs of this container, you can see docker logs. Okay, docker logs of this container is this one. You can see all the logs of the container using docker logs and container id command. You can see these logs. But if you want to use, clear the screen, if you want to without -d and my app one, because I need to change the name, you can see all the logs will be printed while executing the command only. Previously, in my previous case, when I executed docker run -name is equal to my app -d nginx, the logs will not be shown. Just it will show the digest. What is this? I'll tell you. And if you execute this docker container ls, you can see you can execute this docker container ls. And if you do not use the -d option, the logs will be printed to my local terminal itself. Okay, that's a detached mode. I don't want to go into detached mode. That's why I have, if you don't want to go into detached mode, you need to give -d option so that it will not be going into detached mode. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, Docker container ls, you can see it's just control C, just do control C here, you'll be getting out of that detached mode. And if you don't want to see the logs while running, after running the Docker image, just use -d. Okay, then you will see like something like this. You will see something like called digest, and you will not be seeing any logs. But if you don't use, if you want to see the logs afterwards, you can check the logs by using docker logs command. And if you want to see the logs while running the container itself, you should not use -d. That's the difference between -d while running and without running, actually, like after, without using -d while running. Okay, that's the thing. Any questions, please? Anyone, any questions?
Yeah, now we are not seeing my app one here in the list.
Where? Docker container ls, you can see that is my app one, because you can see in the one -a that is in went to exited state. That means -a will give all the stopped and the running containers, and if all the running containers will be given by only -ls, and that went to stopped state, exited state. That means, okay, if you click on, once again, let me show you, have executed control C here to come out of that, uh, like detached mode. That's why I hope it went to exited state. Okay, if you come out of that detached mode, it goes to the exited state. But if you use -d with the, like, once again, docker run app1 and -d, it will, like, one second, my app1 already exists because it's in exited state. I need to remove that. Instead of removing, I want to run other container, my app2. Now you can see it will be in running state docker. My app2 will be in a running state container ls. You can see this, my app2 is in running state because of this -d. And if you don't use -d, you will be going into detached mode, and control C will be exiting that container, actually, I mean to say.
So basically, without D, we will be in the container for whenever we are doing without D, and we can do whatever commands required, and we can just exit out of it. That's it, right? It's a one-time use, basically.
No, it's not. You are inside the container. If you want to go inside the container, that's a different command. Okay, that's docker ex ec hyphen it, and this one /bin/sh. If you use this, you will be going inside the container. You can see, if you are inside a container, you will see something called slash here, ash here. You can execute something called commands like this. Okay, you will see the output inside the container. But here you are not inside the container. You are in a detached mode. This is a separate mode. That you are not inside a container. I mean to say, you are in a detached mode. If you click Control C, or if you come out of the detached mode, you will be in exited state.
Yeah, can we avoid the container going to exited states, sir? Because the interest of us there is to basically run the container, but since we
Okay.
didn't get into the detached mode, it's exiting, right? So can
Yeah.
we avoid it?
Yeah, it's not possible with detached mode.
Okay.
That's why you need to use -d option there.
So what is a, I mean, without using -d, I think it doesn't make sense only, right?
Yes, because you can only see the logs of that directly.
Okay, so -d is mandatory then.
Yeah, -d is mandatory. You need for the detached mode.
Okay.
Okay, anyone? Any questions? Okay, if no questions, tomorrow we'll meet. Actually, tomorrow link is going changed. The demo class has been completed, and just go ahead and register for the course. And yeah, tomorrow we'll meet. Thank you.
Sir, timings, is it going
Timing,
to be
sorry,
10:30?
yes, no. Tomorrow, 10:30 to 11:30, and when it will shift to 9:30, I'll mention the timings in the class. Okay.
Oh, actually, for us, time clashes at 9:30. So we enrolled basically looking at the time as 10:30 only.
Okay, until 2 days, I mean to say tomorrow and day after tomorrow, it will be 10:30, but after that 9:30 will be shifting. You'll be shifting to 9:30.
So the entire course will run at 9:30 only.
Entire course will be running at 9:30 after that.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank
Is
you.
there any problem with that?
Yeah, I will be in commute then at that time.
You will be in commute
Yeah, I will
company.
be going to office. Yeah, so I will not be able to log in then at 9:30. So I basically took demo assuming it's at 10:30. So that's why the timings were comfortable for me.
No. This course will be shifted to 9:30 actually.
So anything sooner that you will start one more batch if at later time. 9:30 is really not possible for me.
Anything sooner? No. Actually, the first batch starts at 8 a.m. And yeah, I already mentioned to you, right? So if it is in 50 percentage, and it takes time actually, I mean to say.
Will there be any plan to run a new batch in Feb by chance?
Feb, right? Okay, Feb is planned actually because first batch will be completed at Feb.
So
There's
again, what about how about timings or any plans to that?
it will be 8 a.m.
8
I think
to
you it's not possible for you, right?
yeah, again it will be a clash.
Yeah,
And
again,
not possible post 10, is it?
no, not possible post time because my company will be started at the time.
You will have clash.
Yeah,
Okay.
or
Mm.
you'll get the recordings. Is that okay? You can join, or yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
my
recordings are fine, but whenever I have questions, I cannot get it clarified.
yes. In the first 8 a.m. class, there is a one guy called Deepak. What he'll do, it's he will just mute himself and he will ask the questions in chat. If that possible for you only, not mentioning that you should join, but it's if it's possible only.
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know. I commute in cab, so I don't know if it disturbs others also.
Okay, you are in cab. Okay. Yep. Just make a better decision. Yeah, I cannot comment on this because yeah, you
Yeah.
understand.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone? Any questions? Anil? Yeah, Anil CH, any material provided for this class? Okay, for this class will not be provided. Once you will be, uh, once you will be once you join the course, okay, then you will be getting the access to Drive, where all the commands and if you deal with Kubernetes, all the manifest files will be shared there in that Drive. You can able to access, and you can able to access the videos as well. That's the thing.
Sir,
Yeah.
if we go through the recordings, and is there any way that I can connect with you to understand if I have any questions?
Okay. See, there is a way. Okay, I mean to say, you will be added to WhatsApp group. Okay. Then I can answer your questions during weekends.
Yeah, holding my questions till then is a problem.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, just post your questions, but if I have a chance, I can answer. But if
No,
I not answer,
I understand. Even I don't want to disturb your other plans, but
yeah.
I'm not finding a way. How can I get into this? And 9:30 batch, what I already started, right? Are they at the beginning stage or have they progressed?
No, they are at the beginning stage only. That's why we started add-on batch for you. Okay.
And that gap, you will be covering us in any extra classes?
Yes, weekends.
Weekends, okay.
Only one weekend I'll take, not more than that. Already 50% is covered. I not 50. I hope 70 is covered. Only the link option I need to tell you. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, sir. You will have to think only on the timings, otherwise I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, just think of it. That's your choice. I cannot comment more than that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as I said, today is the last class for the demo. Please go ahead and register. Thank you. Thanks for joining the session and meet again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.